I've turned every blood demon art to a breathing style, and you won't believe how it turned out. For example, if we can snap our fingers and make each member of the 12 Kazuki into a Hashira without changing their fighting style, I think their techniques can even rival some of the most powerful breathing styles in the show. Don't believe me? Well, let me show you how I turned every blood demon art into a breathing style. Before we dive into this video, I want to point out two key aspects. You see, when regular demon slayers unleash their various breathing styles, they're typically depicted as a real manifestation of the breaths the demon slayer used, but they're not real. The demons are not really hit with water or thunder, for example, although they do make sounds that are similar to the breaths which stayed by Daki's belt when Zenitsu used his thunder breathing to hear a thunder sound right before he used his first form. But for demons like Kokushibo, who wield blood art breathing styles, those illusions become reality. So in our case, it won't happen. In order to make sure we stick to the source material as much as possible, we need to make sure that our brand new breathing style stays as a concept and a style rather than something real. And another thing, I won't be getting into the moon breathing demon art or the thunder breathing demon art. Why, you ask? Because we already know how they look. Okay, let's kick things off with the blood demon art used by one of my favorite demons in the series, Doma's cryokinesis. We all know Doma, arguably the most sadistic demon out of all the 12 Kazuki, as he's never even had emotions as a human and never really had any reason to become a demon other than feeling it was fun as seeing on his reaction when his father was killed by his mother. All he could think about is why the room is so messy. But there's something even colder than his stone cold heart, which is his blood demon art. Cryokinesis allows Doma to manipulate ice and perform frighteningly powerful attacks with it. So now, what if I turn Doma's power into a breathing style? Well, I did just that. For Doma, I'm gonna call this breathing style frost breathing. This breathing style will originate directly from water breathing. The user of this breathing style will use a movement technique called the Arctic Gale Dance. They'll move with elegance and fluidity, like a dancer on ice. This movement technique is like a graceful snowstorm mixed with martial arts. They would be able to channel the concept of cold and frost within themselves, enhancing their swordsmanship. And the craziest thing about this breathing style is that each friggin' cut is so clean and so cold, the demons won't even feel a thing. It's like their flesh has been frozen, nerve endings and all, numbing all the pain associated with the attack. And as a result of that, the demon's ability to heal quickly would be significantly reduced. Instead of wielding a sword like most warriors, this person would use sharp fans or small objects with wide surface areas, like umbrellas, as their main weapon, a unique choice that sets them apart from other slayers. This breathing style has 4 different forms. Frost breathing first form, Frost Mist. The user moves in weird ways like skating on ice, creating illusions of frosty mist. This elegant movement will be accompanied by swift cuts throughout the body of the demon, especially in vulnerable parts like the tendons and muscles, leaving the demon defenseless. After the demon's ability to regenerate greatly reduces and he's on the ground unable to move, the user can go straight for the neck without any issues. Now on to the second form, which I like to call Frostbite Thrust. The user moves so fast, it's like they've hit the freeze button on the world. They strike with a move so amazingly slick and precise, it's like they're drawing a line straight through the air. Simply put, this form is about being a sniper with their strikes, hitting with the kind of force that could pierce through steel. For the third form, we have Frost Nova Release. In this form, the user will create a frost-like dome around him, very similar to Giyu's 11th form defense, but even more powerful. And then there's the fourth and final form, Iceberg Crush. The user delivers a powerful downward strike with their fan or umbrella, mimicking the force of an iceberg crashing down. The sheer strength and angle of the attack create the illusion of a massive weight bearing down on the opponent. Now, another demon art I'm sure most of you would love to see as a breathing style will be Rui's web manipulation. Rui, as we know, has a scary power where he can control threads that are so sharp and durable with high tensile strength that can cut through people and even break the Nichiren swords they're supposed to kill demons. It gets way worse the moment he puts his own blood into these threads, because they get even more stronger than they're supposed to be, so much that they were so difficult even for Tanjiro's water breathing techniques. But just wait, how awesome would this be the moment I turn it into a breathing style? And I'm sure you've already guessed what I'll call it. Well, let's see if you guys are right. I'm gonna name it Spider Breathing. Spider Breathing would be a cool way of fighting with a sword that copies how spiders move. It's a breathing style that's going to be derived from insect breathing. The user of this breathing style would focus on being quick, hitting right where it counts, and using the area around them to their advantage. Just like how a spider is sneaky, fast, and always aware, they would strike in ways that confuse their opponents, like a spider making a web to catch bugs. To master this style, the users have to think like a spider, know their terrain, feel every vibration, and strike with precision, just like a spider feels every little thing that touches its web. Spider breathing consists of several unique forms. First, we have the web slice. Imagine a rapid series of slashes that mimic the creation of a spider web, aiming to trap and cut through opponents with precision. The movements are swift and fluid, creating the illusion of weaving a web. The slashes form intricate crisscrossing patterns in the air, resembling a spider web. Next is the venomous fang. This form form channels the user's breathing into a thrusting attack that mimics the bite of a venomous spider. The precision and speed of the thrust create the impression of a venomous strike, aiming to paralyze the opponent. The thrust is so quick and sharp that it seems to pierce through the air with deadly accuracy. Moving on, we have arachnid agility. This form involves a series of acrobatic maneuvers, using the user's agility to evade attacks and position themselves strategically. It mimics the quick, unpredictable movements of a spider. The user moves with fluid, spider-like agility, creating the impression of a darting, elusive spider. Now let's talk about silk bind. In this form, the user uses their weapon to create the illusion of shooting out sticky silk threads, aiming to bind and immobilize the opponent. Rapid circular movements mimic the trapping nature of spider silk. The weapon spins rapidly, creating a visual effect of silk threads wrapping around the opponent. Next, we have the web of deceit. This technique involves creating an intricate pattern of slashes and thrusts that confuses and overwhelms the opponent, making it difficult to predict the user's next move. It mimics the deceptive nature of spider webs. A complex, dazzling display of movements creates the illusion of a shifting, unpredictable web. Finally, we reach the cocoon trap. This powerful spinning attack mimics the wrapping of prey in a cocoon. The technique is designed to disorient and trap the opponent, rendering them defenseless. The spinning movement of the weapon creates a whirlwind effect, resembling the encasing of a cocoon. Spider breathing combines agility, precision, and the cunning nature of spiders to create a formidable breathing style. If weak but agile attacks are not your cup of tea, let's move on to another blood demon art which deals more on physical strength and brute force. I'm pretty sure you can all guess whose blood demon art's coming next. It's none other than Akaza's Destructive Death. Akaza's blood demon art is seriously unique. It meshes perfectly with his Soryu style martial arts, leveling up his attacks big time. He's famous for his insane physical strength and quick regeneration, but that's not all. The dude is able to send shockwaves rippling through the air, wrecking anyone unlucky enough to be in their path. He's totally a Darwinist, and it's all about survival of the fittest. With his intense bloodlust battle, he's got zero time for the weaklings. In his book, if you're weak, you don't deserve to live. For this breathing style, I came up with the name Impact Breathing, and it'll have 6 forms. This breathing technique would be a derivative of stone breathing because of its unique weapons and style, which allows the user to combine martial arts with the breathing style. In this style, instead of using a regular katana, the user wields spiky knuckles made of the same iron as the Demon Slayer's katana, and their feet are covered with iron armor. Because there's no sword involved in this breathing technique, the user would crush the demon's head instead of decapitate him. And before you say a decapitation is a must in order to kill a demon, I would refer you to the moment Guillaume removed Kokoshibo's head. It seems that the art of removing a demon's head is the thing that kills him and not the sword slice itself. Impact breathing consists of several powerful forms. The first form is Iron Fist. The user delivers a series of rapid punches, each infused with the force of their breathing technique, creating the illusion of powerful shockwaves emanating from their fists. The spiked knuckles add an extra layer of damage, mimicking the destructive power of Akaza's strikes. Each punch is accompanied by a visual shockwave, with sparks flying from the spiked knuckles upon impact. Next, we have Meteor Kick. The user leaps into the air and performs a powerful downward kick, creating the illusion of a meteor crashing down. The iron armor on their feet enhances the impact, making it seem as though a massive force is bearing down on the opponent. The kick generates a bright flash and a crater-like effect on the ground upon landing. Moving on, we have Tempest Spin. The user spins rapidly, using their iron-covered feet and spiked knuckles to create a whirlwind of strikes. This form mimics the chaotic, all-encompassing nature of a storm, overwhelming the opponent with relentless attacks. A spinning blur of iron and spikes, with a whirlwind effect that surrounds the user. Now let's talk about Crushing Wave. The user channels their breathing into a powerful sweeping motion, either with their fists or feet, creating the illusion of a massive wave crashing down on the opponent. The force of the attack is so intense that it seems to crush everything in its path. A sweeping motion with a wave-like visual effect, creating the impression of an unstoppable force. Next, we have Avalanche Strike. The user delivers a series of heavy, consecutive blows, mimicking the relentless and crushing nature of an avalanche. Each strike builds on the previous one, creating an overwhelming sense of power and inevitability. Each strike adds to the growing visual impact, resembling an avalanche gaining momentum. Finally, we reach Iron Cyclone. The user spins with incredible speed and power, using both fist and feet to create a devastating cyclone of attacks. This form mimics the unstoppable force of a cyclone, pulling in and pummeling any opponent caught within its range. The spinning motion and the combined strikes of iron-covered limbs create a ferocious, inescapable assault. Impact breathing combines raw strength, precision, and the indomitable spirit of Akaza to create a truly formidable breathing style. Stay tuned as we continue to transform more blood demon arts into breathing techniques. Man, it's been exciting so far, but believe me, the next demon art which I'm turning into a breathing style is literally gonna leave you speechless. And my choice choice for the next one would be none other than blood manipulation. Gyutaro's blood demon art is seriously intense, and we saw that firsthand in the Entertainment District arc. It was next level. With it, he can pull off all sorts of attacks by using blood from different parts of his body, even launching them from his sickles. And not only are they crazy destructive, but they're also laced with this deadly poison that even took down Tengen Uzui, the Sound Hashira. You can tell how insane it'll be if this blood demon art was paired with a breathing style. That's where I'm introducing a new breathing style called blood breathing. Derived from water breathing, blood breathing consists of 10 unique forms, making it a stronger and more intense version of its predecessor. The first form is Crimson Slash. The user performs a swift, sweeping slash that creates the illusion of a blood-red arc slicing through the air. This attack aims to overwhelm the opponent with the visual and psychological impact of a bloodied strike. A bright crimson trail follows the blade, resembling a streak of blood. Next, we have Blood Whip. The user channels their breathing into a series of fluid whipping motions, creating the illusion of long blood-like tendrils lashing out at the opponent. These strikes are precise and relentless, mimicking the flexibility and reach of a whip. The weapon's movements appear to extend and ripple like flowing blood. Moving on, we have Sanguine Shield. The user uses rapid defensive maneuvers to create the illusion of a barrier made of swirling blood. This form is designed to block and deflect incoming attacks while maintaining a menacing appearance. A swirling crimson aura forms around the user, resembling a shield of blood. Now let's talk about Blood Burst. The user channels their breathing into a powerful explosive attack, creating the illusion of blood splattering in all directions. This technique aims to disorient and damage multiple opponents at once. A sudden burst of crimson energy radiates from the user, simulating an explosion of blood. Next, we got Scarlet Vortex. The user spins rapidly, creating a vortex of blood-red energy that draws in and slashes at any opponent caught within its range. This form combines offense and defense, mimicking the chaotic nature of a bloodstorm. A spinning crimson whirlwind forms around the user, with streaks of red slicing through the air. Then, we have Blood Tide. The user performs a series of sweeping, fluid movements that create the illusion of a powerful tide of blood washing over the battlefield. This form overwhelms opponents with its relentless flow and force. A continuous wave of crimson energy follows the user's movements, resembling a tide of blood. Next, we have Vein Strike. The user channels their breathing into precise, targeted strikes that mimic the flow of blood through veins. This form focuses on pinpoint accuracy and speed, making it seem as though the user's attacks are coursing through the opponent's veins. The strikes leave thin red trails in the air, creating the impression of blood vessels. Then, we have Hemorrhage Dance. The user performs a series of rapid, fluid movements that create the illusion of blood gushing from wounds. This form is designed to disorient and overwhelm opponents with its sheer speed and ferocity. The rapid succession of strikes produces a visual effect of blood spurting from each attack. Moving on, we have Blood Rain. The user leaps into the air and performs a series of downward slashes, creating the illusion of blood raining down on the battlefield. This form combines aerial agility with powerful, precise strikes. A shower of crimson energy cascades from the user's blade, resembling a rain of blood. Then, we have Blood Surge. The user channels their breathing into a powerful forward charge, creating the illusion of a surge of blood rushing towards the opponent. This form combines speed and power, making it seem as though a torrent of blood is crashing down on the enemy. A wave of crimson energy surges forward with the user's charge, resembling a rushing flood of blood. Finally, we reach Blood Requiem. The user channels their breathing into a series of powerful rhythmic strikes, each creating the illusion of blood resonating through the battlefield. This form is both a tribute to the fallen and a devastating, relentless assault. Each strike produces a resonating wave of crimson energy, creating an eerie rhythmic pattern. Blood breathing might have your guys' blood pumping out of excitement, but you won't believe that it'll be nothing compared to this blood demon art, which is gonna pimp into a breathing style. So up next, we have emotion breathing. This style is very unique, and it harnesses the power of different emotions, transforming them into powerful techniques. Each form represents a specific emotion, making the user's attacks as varied and unpredictable as their feelings. This breathing form is the only form that's derived from moon breathing. Why moon breathing, you ask? Because it's the only breathing style that was derived from a pure emotion, which is the envy Michikatsu had for his brother. Emotion breathing consists of 7 powerful forms. The first form is Joyful Burst. The user channels their joy and excitement into a rapid, energetic strike that overwhelms the opponent with sheer speed and power. This attack mimics the exhilaration of joy, creating a burst of energy that is both powerful and uplifting. The user's movements are bright and vibrant, leaving a a trail of radiant energy. Next, we have Wrathful Strike. The user channels their anger and fury into a powerful explosive attack. This form delivers devastating force, mimicking the raw power of wrath. Each strike is intense and fierce, capable of breaking through even the toughest defenses. The user's attacks are surrounded by a fiery aura, reflecting their intense anger. Moving on, we have Sorrowful Wave. The user channels their sorrow and melancholy into a sweeping, fluid motion that envelops and disorients the opponent. This form creates the illusion of a melancholic wave, overwhelming the opponent with a sense of deep sadness. The user's movements are slow and graceful with a dark, flowing aura. Next, let's talk about Pleasurable Dance. The user channels their pleasure and satisfaction into a graceful, rhythmic sequence of movements that mesmerize and confuse the opponent. This form reflects the allure of pleasure, creating a captivating and deceptive attack. The user's movements are smooth and enchanting, with a sparkling, hypnotic aura. Next, we have Fearful Mirage. The user channels their fear and anxiety into an evasive maneuver that creates multiple after images, disorienting the opponent. This form instills fear in the opponent, making it difficult for them to predict the user's next move. The user's movements are quick and elusive, with ghostly after images. Then we have Resentful Fury. The user channels their resentment and bitterness into a series of rapid, relentless strikes. This form mimics the vengeful nature of resentment, delivering a barrage of attacks that are both precise and merciless. The user's movements are sharp and intense, with a dark, seething aura. Finally, we reach Hateful Surge. This form is a powerful combination of all the other forms, executed one after the other in a relentless sequence. The user channels the full spectrum of their emotions into this devastating attack, overwhelming the opponent with a torrent of strikes. Hateful Surge reflects the destructive nature of hatred, delivering a surge of energy that combines the power of joy, wrath, sorrow, pleasure, fear, and resentment into an unstoppable assault. The user's movements are fierce and destructive, with a dark, fiery aura, culminating in a grand finale that leaves the opponent utterly defeated. Emotion Breathing combines the full spectrum of human emotion into a powerful and versatile breathing style. Each form reflects a different emotional state, making the user's attacks as varied and unpredictable as their feelings. Stay tuned as we continue to transform more Blood Demon arts into breathing techniques. Finally, let's dive into the depths with Fish Breathing. Inspired by Gyoko's Blood Demon art, this style, derived from beast breathing, harnesses the fluidity and precision of aquatic creatures. Each form mimics the unique abilities of different fish, turning the user's attacks into a mesmerizing display of aquatic power. Fish breathing consists of 10 powerful forms. The first form is Water Prison Pot. The user channels their breathing to create an illusion of trapping the opponent in a water prison, mimicking the sensation of drowning. The user's movements are fluid and encompassing, creating an inescapable watery cage. Next, we have Killer Fish Scales. The user performs a rapid series of slashes that mimic the sharp, scale-like blades of fish. This form aims to overwhelm the opponent with a flurry of precise, cutting attacks. The slashes create a shimmering effect, resembling fish scales. Moving on, we have Thousand Needle Fish Kill. The user channels their breathing into a series of thrusts that mimic the needle-like spikes of fish. This form delivers a barrage of piercing attacks, creating the illusion of being struck by thousands of needles. The rapid thrusts generate a rain of needle-like energy. Now let's talk about Octopus Vase Hell. The user utilizes a combination of fluid movements and powerful strikes to mimic the tentacles of an octopus. This form aims to entangle and constrict the opponent, limiting their ability to move and retaliate. The user's movements are sinuous and unpredictable, resembling the tentacles of an octopus. Next, we have Rotating Peony Vase. The user channels their breathing into a rapid spinning attack that creates a chaotic barrage of strikes. This form aims to overwhelm the opponent with its speed and unpredictability. The spinning movements generate a whirlwind of energy, resembling a peony in full bloom. Moving on, we have Living Fish. The user transforms their stance and movements to mimic the fluidity and adaptability of fish. This form focuses on both offense and defense, using swift, flowing movements to attack and evade. The user's body appears to ripple and flow like water. Now let's talk about Merman form. The user channels their breathing to enhance their physical abilities, mimicking the powerful form of a merman. This form combines strength and agility, allowing the user to deliver powerful strikes while maintaining fluidity and grace. The user's movements are strong and commanding, with an aura of aquatic power. Next, we have Geyser Burst. The user channels their breathing into an upward strike that mimics the explosive force of a geyser. This form aims to launch the opponent into the air, creating an opportunity for a follow-up attack. The upward strike generates a burst of energy that propels the opponent upward, resembling an erupting geyser. Moving on, we have Vortex Cage. The user performs a series of rapid, circular slashes that create the illusion of a swirling vortex. vortex. This form aims to trap the opponent within a cage of swirling energy, limiting their movements and options. The rapid slashes generate a swirling vortex of energy, resembling a cage made of water currents. Finally, we reach Leviathan's Wrath. The user channels their breathing into a devastating series of attacks that mimic the power and ferocity of a Leviathan. This form combines the strength and unpredictability of the previous forms into a relentless onslaught, overwhelming the opponent with sheer force and precision. The user's movements are grand and commanding, generating a powerful, multi-directional assault that leaves the opponent with no escape. Fish breathing combines the fluidity, precision, and adaptability of aquatic creatures into a powerful and versatile breathing style. Each form reflects a different aspect of the underwater world, making the user's attacks as mesmerizing and unpredictable as the ocean itself. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch more Demon Slayer videos, click on the video that's popped up on the screen right now.